Hi. Do you enjoy buying the same remake over and over again from the same company? Or do you enjoy buying games only to know that there will be a reissue of the same game with all the DLC you just bought for half the price that you spent? Sounds like you're a modern day Capcom fan. Which kind of sucks because it wasn't always like this. Capcom was the king of awesome. I remember always waiting for the next Mega Man game. I remember hanging out with my friends playing Street Fighter, even though the fighting market was oversaturated when I was a kid. It was still fun, and I didn't feel like I was being screwed in the ass by Capcom all the time. Until now. Let's talk about Street Fighter. Now, I love Street Fighter, don't get me wrong, who doesn't? They're the most amazing franchise ever. Like, I can't get enough of Street Fighter. But just like everybody else, I always buy into that garbage of, hey, super ultimate version Street Fighter. And let's face it, there has not been one Street Fighter game that has not been updated, with the exception of Street Fighter 1. Or Fighting Street, as it were. Either way, every single Street Fighter game has seen an update. Now let's talk about Namco. Namco is synonymous for Pac-Man. They're also synonymous for the Tekken series. They are known for the Ridge Racer series. But let's talk about Tekken. Tekken is a really awesome 3D fighter. It doesn't play like, say, the Mortal Kombat games on PlayStation 2. It has a very Street Fighter feeling to it, although it's very up close. There are no projectiles, and you can sidestep, much like its sister game Soul Calibur. Tekken doesn't really see a whole lot of updates. They'll see arcade release and then an update release a year later on the arcades. But we get a solid release on the consoles. Why am I talking about Street Fighter and Tekken? Well, both those companies gave birth to this. Now I know, wow, a game with Street Fighter and Tekken characters, it sounds like a dream come true. No. Street Fighter Cross Tekken sounded really epic when it was first announced. I remember the announcement trailer was amazing. It just wowed me because it had released just around the time of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, another Capcom game that's on update no more than like a year after its release. Thanks, Capcom. Either way, you would think that two companies could come together and make one awesome game. This game has received so many positive scores across the board, but not from me. I'm sorry. But I'm not going to buy into this whole, wow, there's a whole new Capcom game with Namco characters, awesome, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to be the first real person to tell you why this game is so bad. Could you give me 1 second, please? Take it, you gaming wench, take it, oh my god, you better open, take it. That's a good girl. What? Don't you give me lip. Wow, even the system knows this game is horrible. This game has a number of modes. Man, something about this menu system looks really familiar. Oh, whatever. Either way, there's an arcade mode, a versus mode, Xbox Live, a training mode, a challenge mode that has a bunch of different subcategories that you can do, like trials and whatnot, a customization mode, player data options, and a store. We'll get to all of those in a second. Let's start with the arcade mode. The arcade mode can be played with multiple people. You can choose your difficulty, you can choose the number of rounds, the time, or even fight requests if you're gonna fight with somebody. Let's get this done quick, so let's see, let's pick our characters. The roster is kind of disappointing, seeing as how all of the downloadable content characters are already on the disc. So let's think about this clearly. We are paying for characters that are already on the disc that will be released later on this year. Why do I have to pay extra for something that's already on the disc? This doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like buying a car and having the car companies tell you, oh yeah, sorry, you can't use the radio until you pay us an extra $100 for us to enable it in November. Ugh, my god, typical Capcom BS. So let's just finish this off and get this started. Pick whoever. The story is actually fairly weak. It's all about how there's a box called Pandora's Box. Yeah, real original. How it lands on Earth and every really, really powerful fighter teams up with somebody else, like Ryu is going to team up with, let's say, Ken. Wow, what a surprise. I really didn't think he would team up with Ken. Ugh, stupid. These are such no-brainer team-ups. Although some of the team-ups are actually quite interesting. Like you have Lily and Asuka teaming up, that was pretty nice. Or Kuma and Heihachi teaming up, that was pretty cool. I mean, team-ups like that are really nice, and a lot of the interactions between the team members are really nice to see. While this visual style is very nice, I think it's very half-assed. Capcom could have come up with something a lot better, but they didn't, because, hey, what do they care? During these loading screens, and I mean loading screens because these things take forever to load, the characters get... sorry about that. The characters themselves get bored of waiting, so they stretch. These are some of the character interactions I was talking about. They're really nice. It shows the dynamic between the characters, and you really get a sense of how they fight together. Because, let me tell you, the character interactions very much have like an undertow for how the characters will play together as a team. One thing that bothers me the most, the controls. I am not kidding. They are bad. It doesn't look like it's that bad, but there are times, like right now, I would desperately like to jump over her, but I can't. Why? Because this game doesn't even feel finished. Wait, what? I don't even want to trade. I don't even know how to trade. How did that even happen? Oh my god. Wait, how am I switching? I have no idea. This is ridiculous. Oh my god, I hate this system. Well, enough about the horrible fighting mechanics. The characters all have a gem system. The gems are executed by completing a certain amount of tasks, like, let's say, get hit 5 times, connect with 5 moves, and each of them have their own statistics that they add to the character. Like, some characters will be made a lot faster, some characters will be able to take more abuse than others, and sometimes some of the gems will allow you to regain health at the cost of the meter below. The meter below will allow you to do certain special moves. Although, I gotta say, now that I'm playing this, this seems all too familiar. I mean, I know it's a new game and all, but this really seems familiar. It doesn't, I don't know, there's something about it. Wait a minute. In Trials, you can pick a character, any character, Tekken or Capcom, and I say Capcom because, really, yeah, I've never seen Poison in any fighting game. She's from Final Fight, so yeah, this is Capcom. And yes, I know Final Fight was Street Fighter 89, but yeah, it's here, and it's Final Fight, so yeah, this is the Capcom side, not Street Fighter. So you pick your character, and you are given different amounts of challenges you can do. the screen will display certain things that you have to do, like a Hadouken, a Shoryuken, a Tatsumaki Senpukya. Yeah, I know. That's awesome that I can pronounce that. Most people just call it the Hurricane Kick, but regardless. So you do these challenges. But I didn't want to do that. What the heck? Hold on a second. What? What the heck is a quick combo? Are you kidding me? So if I even slightly touch the left stick, it'll send me into a combo? Well, that explains why I kept switching in the middle of battle. Well, if you're like me and you can't stand that kind of thing, yeah, just switch it off. So let's get back to it. Oh, much easier. Well, that's pretty much the gist of all of the trials. You do a command that's on the screen, and then you go to the next trial. Mission mode has you play through various missions, each mission having its own requirements for completion. Like, let's say, this mission 1 has a requirement of making you play using only normal moves. So you can't use any ultra combos or the trading combos. So let's see if it'll keep us from doing any of the specials, like the Hadouken, the Kikoken, or any of those moves. Wow, loading times sure are annoying. Hey, look! The boxers. Interesting. That's a nice combination of Tekken and Capcom characters. Let's see. Interesting. Well, I guess it doesn't penalize me when I do special moves. So I'm assuming it probably is referring to the fact that we're not allowed to do any of the, like, actual hyper specials or the ultras or whatever you call them, the cross specials, I don't know. So yeah, that's the gist of it. The final option is a tutorial. Do I really need to go over what a tutorial is? I mean, come on, it's self-explanatory. Tutorial. It even has an explanation on the bottom. Learn the basic rules of the game in this mode. So yeah, if you really want to know what a tutorial is, well, pick up a Webster's dictionary and find out yourself. Let's talk about the customization in this game. Now, Tekken has always been known about customizing everything. Customizing your eyebrows, customizing your hair, your mustache, your nose hairs, your bootstraps, your jackets, everything. Which is actually a really cool feature, and I'm very disappointed that they didn't bring that over. All we get is a color changing mod. Like, if you ever had the weird fetish fantasy of making Chun-Li super duper pale, and making her wear black like a goth chick or something, well then, Merry Christmas. Christmas came early today. Another option we have is the gem units. The gem units are pretty much your assist in the game. For instance, there are some gems that will allow you to have better speed, they'll allow you to do more damage. Some gems will actually increase your damage outputs, but while decreasing your movement speeds. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, so if you're going to want to make a really good list of gems, you're really going to have to take your time and go through everything and study your ass off and find out what does what and what goes where. Although it's kind of sad because a lot of these are the same. Like, I have immense power level 1, like, 8 times. And the only differences are the commands in order to do them. Sometimes I need to do a cross cancel. Sometimes I need to do 2 hits. Sometimes I need to land 5 hits. Or it'll be like, oh, take 5 hits of damage. Which is kind of, I mean, I guess it makes sense if you want to mix and match, but I really only need 1. This is such a waste. I bought the collector's edition having been promised a certain amount of gems, and they're all the same. Look at this. Ugh. It's typical Capcom BS. Well, let's move on. No point over crying over spilled milk. Let's